And we're live. Hello. My dog is alive. My dog says hello. This is John. I'm here with another episode of Tales. This is, I think, our fourth episode where we go through these wonderful 150 card prompts. These are available at tales.com. And they're meant so that you can get to know people who live their life before they pass on. I'm a relatively young person. I'm 50 years old. I do have a terminal cancer diagnosis, which got a little worse today. We found out that there's something going on in my spine that's causing problems in my groin and hip and so forth. I don't want to get too much into that because that's not what this is about. This is about getting to know me as a person, not me as a patient. By the way, fantastic coffee. Dominations Cup. You go to bighugegames.com and get yourself one of these great Dominations Cups. Those are fantastic. Sponsored by them for the moment. I suppose that's what that means. Also, some of you may notice that I'm wearing some may think of as a woman's cardigan. For starters, I'll wear what I want, but guys, if you've never tried it, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of anybody calling you names. Don't be afraid of suddenly turning gay or anything of this nature. Ask your girlfriend, ask your wife, ask your sister, ask any woman you know. There is very little that feels as comfortable as a yarn knit cardigan. Preferably, like I got with pockets. Pockets are great. Again, ask any woman in your life; she'll let you know there's a few things better than pockets. You probably don't know this because you always had pockets. She hasn't always had pockets around, so it's only very recently that anybody's been allowed to give women pockets. That's why they have pocket books. It's like a book, but it's a pocket. We might hear my 2-year-old in the background. He's going down for a nap, sort of. And also, we've got some friends over, but I'm having a little bit of me time, and I'm going to share that with you and make it some us time. So we're going to have some us time. All right, next question. What were your siblings like when you were young? Well, they were an awful lot shorter. Tell you that, and they probably didn't eat as much. Well, they might have eaten as much. Looking for the control on my chair here. My back is starting to give me some continual problems. So this having this handy dandy chair, which you guys actually helped me buy. These chairs are not cheap, and I've raised a little money on Patreon and through another site a friend of mine set up called Meal Train. That both of those have been instrumental in helping me get things. Next things I'm going to end up getting are most likely a wheelchair and some kind of conversion kit for the Jeep to allow me to get in and out of it. My mobility is going to be dropping here pretty fast. It's a race against my lungs. All that aside, we're going to talk about what were my siblings like when I was young. When we say my siblings, I want to acknowledge and make sure everybody is aware that I have three amazing adoptive sisters, Ann, DJ, and Megan, who I love very much. I do think of them as my sisters. But I did not know them when I was young. So I'm not going to get into them because when I was little, I wasn't hanging out with them. The siblings that I will talk about are my four brothers. My oldest brother, Jay, is he's the only one who's older than me. I came in second place. Jay is just about a year older than I am. We'll get into that in a minute. After Jay came after me, there was a 4-year gap. And then Peter came. Peter Slattery, who at the time was Peter Slattery Worrell. Followed by Michael. 2 years after that, Michael Worrell is now. I think they hyphenate now. I think that he might be Michael Lesher Worrell, or he might be Michael Worrell and took Lesher as a middle name. I have a little bit of a hard time keeping track of things right now. So my apologies to you guys if I got that stuff wrong. And Daniel is the youngest. Daniel's 9 years younger than I am. We were quite a handful of the five of us. But because of the 4-year gap between myself and Peter growing up, really it was like two sets of children. It was Jay and I, and then the three other. I'm using the microphone. It's Jay and I over here, and then this is magic. 2 becomes 3. I'm magically knocking into my microphone. So I'm not a magician. 3 becomes 2, becomes 3, becomes whack. So Jay and I were really thick as thieves as kids. He was my best friend. He was my biggest rival. He was my arch enemy. He was my blanket fort mate. He was my trundle bed wrestling partner. He was my scout when I would stay at the home base, and he would go maybe across the street or whatever the range of the walkie-talkie was, and try to Morse code back to me what the situation was with whatever neighbor it was we decided we needed to be spying on for some reason. My apologies to the Hermans and the Dietzes, Ripples, and whoever else it may have been, the Guidos that we might have been spying on Park's family. When you're 7 or 8-year-old boy and you're given spy equipment, it involves a pair of plastic binoculars, shitty handheld microphones, or walkie-talkies they would always have a Morse code button, beep, 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 beep. But if you just held down the talk button, you could use your voice. But just in case you were worried somebody was going to overhear, you would use the Morse code so to make sure that nobody knew what the hell you're talking about. Beep, beep, beep. It's all of a sudden you're getting beep, beep, beeps. And then you're trying to yell into your own microphone, stop use words. I don't know Morse code. But, and then they had a translator right there on the thing. Translator would always be in so it would say, like S is dit, dit, dit. O is dash, dash, dash. I think that's right. It's either that or the other way around. I think that's right. Dit, 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 dash, dash, dash for the O. I don't know any other letters because the only thing we would ever be able to relay to each other was SOS. And then the problem is they keep putting SOS in over and over and over again. And they were so busy sending that signal that they couldn't hear the signal that you were trying to. What's your SOS about? What's the situation? What's your 20? What's your whatever it was come up with? But they were never listening. They were too busy SOSing. Walkie-talkie also had, listed out all of the alphabet letters, as opposed to the other kinds of letters, and numbers, and it was always done on a highly reflective surface so that you could, if you were too far away to receive the dits and dashes, or you could use it as a signaling device. You see, which certainly there was a cause for you're on a hilltop somewhere, 7 years old. Those spy kits came with binoculars for sure. Usually some kind of magnifying glass. In case you needed to inspect a footprint and know your nose. At any rate, Jay and I used that stuff all the time. Man, we love shit like that. Our parents were really big on, I think Mom in particular, on making sure that we were getting stuff that had some sort of learning value, right? Like a chemistry set. Here's your litmus strip, and here's this, that, and fourth thing. Dad was always involved in sports. He'd take us to Washington Diplomats games, go watch Johan Cruyff. We were lucky they'd be playing the New York Cosmos because the Cosmos had Beckenbauer and Canalia, but mostly they had Pele. And if you got to go watch Pele play on a football pitch in person, then you're one of the lucky people that have walked this earth. I not only got to watch Pele play as a child, but as an adult, I was able to go to one game and watch Michael Jordan play when he was with the Wizards. So that's two of the GOATs. And then I've also watched Alexander Ovechkin play. I don't know if that's true. No, you know what it is, and I've never seen Ovechkin in person. I watched Peter Bondra for sure, and I also seen Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr when they were together. The question is, did I get to watch Bondra against Gretzky? Because I think Gretzky is definitely in the GOAT conversation for hockey. And if there's no conversation, it's because he's already won it. But Ovechkin's definitely made a case. At any rate, we didn't go to any hockey games really when I was a kid. We went to soccer games because soccer was affordable. And also, Dad got tickets through a buddy of his sometimes at work. That helped out. Um, uh, Jay and I, we were very competitive. We used to play uh, anything that we could: baseball, football, basketball. We played a lot of soccer in our backyard and an empty lot across the street, which was Aunt Edie's. Uh, Edie, I can only imagine, stood for Edith. Uh, and she was, I don't know if she could be considered the matriarch of the Ehrman family, but she was definitely old. So, she was older than everybody else, and she had a big side yard where there could have been a house, but there wasn't one, and her kids, anyone who stood to inherit that property, got really upset by the fact that we were always over there tearing it up, playing football and soccer, ruining the grass, generally turning into a giant mud pit. Uh, and But Aunt Edie didn't mind. She liked it. She liked knowing that she was giving the kids a place to play. Uh, so we got to play there. Uh, Pretty much, I think the minute she passed away, somebody started construction on a house on that lot. Uh, so we couldn't play there anymore. But growing up, man, the number of times we've been up and down that field, either with a football or with a soccer ball. Uh, Sometimes we go over there and make snow forts, uh, throw snowballs back and forth at each other. Now, one of the other great things about Aunt Edie's yard was that right next to it was the Dietz family. Uh, Now we've got 5 boys in my family, but the Dietz family had, I don't know, Chrissy, let me know, but near as I can tell, at least 8, 6 to 8 children, maybe more. Uh, this is Jonathan, Christopher, Josh, Elizabeth. I think there was a Benjamin. That's where it starts getting fuzzy for me, but I think there were more than that. But I grew up. I didn't stay too much in touch with them. Um, Jonathan, the oldest of the Dietz boys, was a year younger than me, and Jay, who was the oldest of our family, his kids, was a year younger than Jimmy Ripple, uh, who was the oldest of the Ripple boys. They lived 2 houses down on our left. The Ripple boys were Jimmy and EJ. Uh, and so all of us played together. There were other children that moved in and out of the neighborhood. Sean Fredericks, Colin McInerney. Um, that's most of the people that were right there on that block. Soraya Henderson, beautiful girl, who lived in Sean Fredericks' house after he moved out. I don't know if they were renting it from them or what. Adam Stoffel and his sister Aubrey, very good friends. They rented the Dietz's house after the Dietz's moved out. Delora Parks, who was known as Dory back then, but I can't imagine she still goes by Dory. I asked her not too long ago. I got to see her couple of years ago in Falls Church for coffee. It was very good to see her, but I can't remember if she got rid of the Dory moniker. I just went with Delora. And she had two sisters, Elizabeth and Jennifer. I'm probably answering another card as the way it is, but it's important to think when we think about it in context of what were my siblings like. We were part of a larger pack of children that roamed the neighborhood, Uh, uh, Johnny Barnett was around the corner. We didn't see too much of him. We saw Andrew Burke quite a lot. He was around another corner. The Sterners, Jeff and Janice, were around another corner for a while. They moved away fairly early, but I certainly remember spending time with them. Craig Guido was across the street. He was a little older than me, as was Joni Ehrman. So I didn't. Craig would sometimes come out and rough house with us to play football or whatever. You could usually get Craig was good about playing with us little kids. Joni didn't play with us as much, but she did when she started driving in high school. She would give me a ride to school sometimes, which was nice. I thought she was so beautiful, and the reason for that is because she was. And they had a cousin named Tana, who was also gorgeous. Tana would come play football with us, and when Tana was in town, which was not often, I think she used to come visit maybe once a year, somewhere in the summertime, but whenever she was around, we would only play football, and we would only play tackle football, and Tana could hit like a linebacker. She was insanely fearless. Fearless. She would run you over and let you know about it. Other kids right next door to me on the left used to be Glenn and Glenda Lagerman. They moved away when we were very small. And the house that we lived in on Greenwich Street, we bought from the Lagermans. There was at that time an empty lot next door to our house as well, which they owned. They built a house on that lot and moved in there for a short amount of time, and then leased it out or sold it. I think they leased it and then sold it. Anyway, there were a lot of kids in the neighborhood, and I'm certain that I've forgotten some, even having listed tons of kids. Some that were not too far away. Ed Kinsella, Zach and Mitch Falter. Rest in peace, Zach. You're a beautiful man. You're a good friend as a kid. I thought you were special. Joe Gross, his brothers, William John. Too many to remember. Kitty Gray. I'll stop doing this now. None of this means anything to you guys. For 10 years, 10 days out of the year, Jay and I would be the same age numerically. He was born 355 days before I was. So when I turned 8, for example, he did not turn 9 until 10 days after that. And so for those 10 days, we were both 8 years old. And somehow that became kind of a ritualistic portion of the calendar for us, because we could compete on even terms. Oh, we're both 8. All right. Now let's see if you're as fast as I am. Well, no, I wasn't as fast as I was. Jay was always faster than I was. Jay was very fast. He was a good runner. And so we were very competitive, and I was a complainer and a sore loser. I wasn't a very good loser at all. Um, and so often when we would run somewhere where Jay was faster, I would blame it on the fact that he was older. Well, you're older than I am, so that's the only reason you won. And then would come our 10-day Olympics, at which point he would outrun me. And then I couldn't blame it on the fact that he was older because we were the same age. I didn't have the understanding of science or math to argue the fact that our age difference was just the same as it had always been. So for a while there, that's how that would work. Wonder if this camera zooms in. I don't know, it's probably not the time to mess with it. I'll think about that another time. Peter was the first of the victims. Peter, Michael, Daniel, group 2. And Peter wanted to come play with Jay and I. Why wouldn't he? We're his brothers. Again, 4-year gap between Peter and I. Well, I guess except for 6 days of the year when it was a 3-year gap. But we didn't think about that quite as much as Jay and I did. So Peter often got to play with us if we were playing with like the Dietzes, because they had kids that were closer to his age. But he was always kind of at the tail end of things, and always he knows if Pete's listening to this, he knows exactly where I'm taking it, which is our mother one time. We were playing in the backyard, Jay and I, and probably EJ and a few other kids. We're playing rugby soccer. Rugby soccer was a big part of our childhood. Rugby soccer involved maintaining possession of the soccer ball, using only your feet, your legs, your head, but you can't use your hands for soccer. You can't hold it between your arms in soccer. So now, if there were 4 of you that were playing, one of you had the ball. The other 3 were trying to separate you from the ball by any means necessary. With the exception of direct attacks. You can't punch somebody in the face. But you can certainly punch them in the arm or the chest or something like that. You can use your feet to push them away. But you couldn't go Muay Thai on them. It was, there was sort of unspoken boundaries about, are we playing or are we fighting? And if it got too rough, if it was getting too rough and it was too much like a fight, then usually somebody would get hurt, probably me. Unless Peter was playing. It would be Peter who got hurt, or any of the Dietz children. The Dietz children were usually first to go down, and that was not coincidental. we targeted the Deeds children. I will be the first to admit it. And it's unfortunate we did, because they were good kids. Um, come from a very religious family, military family, very conservative upbringing, um, very nice kids. And because they were younger and smaller than the rest of us, they got the worst of it from everybody. Uh, didn't matter who it was, the Ripples, it was us, it was, and anybody who was around. Uh, Now, as our family, and their family started to get older, uh, all of the bullying that we did to Jonathan and Christopher, like we didn't really bully Ben because he was little, right? Or Josh. Uh, they didn't really get it quite as much as Jonathan did or Christopher did, because those two were the oldest. Uh, so Jimmy Ripple would bully my brother Jay, but not me. Uh, Jay and EJ and I would bully the older Dietz boys. And then the older Dietz boys would, in turn, if the opportunity arose, bully my younger brothers, uh, mostly Peter. And I'll never forget one time that we sent Peter out into the street as bait one winter during this after a snowstorm. Uh, so sure enough, Pete walked out front, and we were spying from the. We had the walkie-talkies. One person was up in the bedroom spying out the front window. I think I was doing the spying from the window, and then when Pete got in front of the Dietz's house, which was really just like two houses, sort of catty cornered this, then he started. Then he became bait. By which he started saying things like, "I bet you can't hit me with snowballs," or whatever it was. He said to try to rile them up. Oh, I'm out here all by myself. I hope nobody jumps me with snowballs. And then, sure enough, out come Jonathan and Christopher, and they start hitting Peter with snowballs. And so as soon as I'm on the walkie-talkie to Jay, I said, "Okay, first snowball thrown," and so then Jay popped out from behind a van or something and started hugging snowballs at the Dietz's, and I raced downstairs and outside, and joined in. We had a huge snowball fight, which I have to assume we won because we were older and stronger. Um, we were pretty athletic kids, uh, and yeah, Well, it was going through our mind that we would use our brother as bait, so we had an excuse to attack small children. It was pretty messed up, but it's the truth. Um, so uh, Jonathan and I, the funny thing is, through all of this stuff, as much as there was bullying and as much as there was, childhood level violence, uh, they also, we would have sleepovers in each other's houses. We would play Monopoly together till 3 in the morning. Then we'd go and bring our 50 cents to 7-Eleven. Uh, we'd ride our bikes together, across town. If anybody who wasn't from our part of the neighborhood, came and gave those kids a hard time, we'd be there to back them up. Those are our kids to bully, not yours. Uh, and so we formed some pretty thick bonds with them for a while. Drifted apart after school, as people do. People move out, move on. Reconnected with Jonathan Dietz. I don't know, maybe 10, 12 years ago. He grew up just a beautiful man. He was very handsome. Uh, Great looking guy, as did Christopher. Uh, but Jonathan unfortunately had he had a tumor, I think, in his brain. He fought a long battle. I don't remember the exact diagnosis. He had leukemia, or if he had brain cancer. I don't know. But he was always positive. He was always friendly. He was full of love for anybody who wanted it. Um, and I think of him as a sibling. We terrorized our own siblings as well. Jay and I did. Peter, Michael, and Daniel were under. They weren't. They weren't spared. Although I will say, Jay gave it to him worse than I did. I certainly had my moments. I uh, remember pinning Peter down and spitting on his face, something terrible like that. I don't know. It was some awful stuff. I tried to kill Jay one time. We shared a room in the attic. Uh, Somebody had, for some reason, given him a wooden bow and arrow set. Couldn't have been more than 6, 7 years old. Uh, Probably maybe about 5, and 5 or 6. For some reason, he pissed me off so bad. He was sleeping. I took his bow and arrow, walked right up. I tried to shoot him in the head. Now, we're talking about a target that is perfectly still, a range of 2.5, 3 feet. I drew that bow and arrow back far as I thought it could handle. And arrow was notched. I let it fly. But I hit the bedpost. The bedpost was between me and my brother's head, which was the target. And took a good chunk of wood off of that bedpost. I don't think that I was capable of penetrating bone with this child's wooden bow and arrow kit. But I don't remember if I was 5 or 6. Probably wouldn't have been tried as an adult. But I hated him in that moment for whatever stupid thing he did. Jay had no problem reminding me that he was bigger and older, stronger. I think especially because anytime I did anything better than he did, I made it my point to make sure that he knew full well that I got better grades than he did on this particular exam, or I got a higher score than he did on the bicycle safety test, or anything we could find that we would compete in. If I had lost, I would blame it on the fact that he was older than me, so I didn't have a chance. Anytime I won, it was, I beat you even though you're older than me. That's how awesome I am. And it was too competitive. I look back. I don't think my parents intentionally set it up so that we would be that competitive. But then I think back on some of these presents that we used to get. You give small children boxing gloves. We each got a set of Marvel's Marvin Hagler boxing gloves. And what do you think is going to happen? We put on the boxing gloves poorly, and we start wailing on each other. So, give somebody a bow and arrow. Good thing nobody had a loaded gun in the house. It may well have been a terrible story. Michael, 6 years younger than me, and man, I hope this is all getting picked up. Michael, I'm very proud of. I'm very proud of Michael. We have not always had the best relationship, Michael and I. My relationships with all of my brothers have been imperfect over the years. We've never not had any of us. I've not had a relationship with any of my brothers that has not had its ups and downs. I think that that's pretty common, but our ups and downs have been maybe a little more uh, pronounced, maybe than some other families, but not as bad as others, right? It's none of this. Found out that one of my children was fathered by my brother, or none of that, so that's good. Um, uh, we definitely have had some strains. I'll get into that stuff a little bit later. As children, I always thought that Michael had the most potential of any of my brothers to be great at anything he wanted to be great at. I think that he was smarter than the rest of us. I think he was more athletic than the rest of us. Um, and as a competitive child who, didn't like losing to my brother who was a year older than me, you can imagine how well I handled it when I lost to my brother who was 6 years younger than me. And that happened regularly. He got as teenagers, uh, he was better than I was at basketball, and I took great pride in being good at basketball. I was good at basketball, and then for Michael to be better than me really nailed me. What I regret, I don't know that regret's the right word. I really don't believe too much in regret. I think that whatever weird ass decisions we make, at the time, I think that one of two things is happening. You're either making a conscious decision to do something, or you're not thinking, and you're not deciding your own actions. You're just reacting on instinct. I think that trying to murder my brother with a bow and arrow was I was in some sort of rage. I don't I don't look back on that and think, is it a good idea for me to kill my brother? Does he really not deserve to live? Should I? How's it going to be when my parents wonder where he is and come find him, pool of blood with an arrow in his head? I'll try to explain that he probably fell on it. It was terrible. I can. I was a sociopath. I didn't have. I was incapable of admitting when I did something wrong. I feel so bad about that. I pulled a fire alarm one time in school, second grade. Somewhere between second and fifth. Aaron Spavacek knew full well that I did it. think I might even tap him on the shoulders. Watch this. Pulled the fire alarm. Maybe somebody dared me to do it. I don't know. But I pulled it. And sure enough, loudest damn bell you ever heard in your life start going off. I tried to push that thing back up. Wouldn't go. You know, I pulled into the principal's office because when they asked who did it, I think it was Aaron. It might have been Andrew. Somebody told the faculty, the authorities, that it was me that I did it. So then I lied. I was, no, I didn't do it. And then I said, well, I made up a story. Somebody bumped me, and as I was falling, I was grabbing for whatever I could on the wall, and I caught the fire alarm. And at that point, everybody knew that I would just lie my way out of things. It's terrible. It's terrible. I don't know. And the other things I just lied my way through. But my brothers one time, my mother had made a pan of brownies one night because somebody had a school. It was their birthday was coming up, and so in our school system, when it was your birthday, you would bring in cookies or brownies or some baked goods or something for everybody in your homeroom to eat that morning. Give everybody some sugar for turning loose on the other children. Right? So for somebody's birthday, where my mom made a whole bunch of brownies, and sure enough, 2:30 in the morning, I'm down there in the kitchen eating brownie after brownie after brownie. I ate as many brownies as I could. It was a lot. And I went back up and went to sleep without a drop of guilt about what I'd done. And the next day, my mother was furious in the kitchen next morning. She went to go pack the brownies up to send to school with some child. 3 brownies. Homeroom class of like 12, 14 kids. She's got 3 brownies. She's supposed. She made all these brownies for these children. And then she asked, well, who ate these brownies? I don't know. Must be somebody. There's 5 of us. She didn't know who ate the brownies. She must have had a pretty good guess. Only imagine. But no, it was she put all of us in her bedroom on her bed. We all had to sit there, and she said, "That's it. Nobody is going anywhere until I know who ate these brownies." And we were missing school, late for school. You know, everybody was saying the same thing. Come on, man. Whoever did it, just say it so we can get on. I want to go to school. I was right there with him. Fess up, you bastard. Of course it was me. Of course it was me. I did it. Uh, Several hours later, Mom comes in once again to check to see if anybody's ready to confess. Peter confessed. Peter said, "I ate brownies. I did it." He didn't once again hit the microphone. Not very good at this. Feeling a little guilty. Well, maybe probably good 50 years old. I'm feeling guilty for eating brownies when I was 9 or 10. I don't know. Probably older than that, probably 12. Because I remember Daniel was also a suspect. If I was 12, that would have made him 3. So somewhere in there. So yeah, I was not always great. To my siblings. I feel bad about that. I'm sorry, you guys. I was not always bad. I was not always a tyrant. My brothers remind me, my younger brothers remind me that there were times when, when Jay and I got to be, I don't know, 9 or 10 years old or whatever, we were prime babysitting age. We were out making money throughout the neighborhood, babysitting other people's children. And so we were also would watch our own kids. Not that we had kids, but our brothers would watch our younger brothers. And I will admit that I was happy to say that Jay was the tyrant in those situations, not me. Jay was the one that as soon as Mom left the house, he'd say, "Okay, everybody go to your room right now. Stay there. Don't come out." Under protest, under fear of being beaten, each of these little younger kids would go to bed 2 in the afternoon, and my parents Apparently, no concern for our safety whatsoever. Put locks on the outside of our bedroom doors. The the stated reason for this was that we were always complaining that some child or other was stealing stuff out of our room, so they put a lock up top that we could close and lock our door. Now I feel like a bad parent too. All right. All right. So here's the thing. I know Liz has got this under control, and he'll get over here in a second. But if he doesn't, I'm going to go silence the monitor for you guys. Not because I don't want to take care of my child, because I do. I feel like I'm such a bastard right now. All right, hold on a second. I'm going to go silence this real quick. I'll be right back. Oh, gee. Getting all this off my chest. Is blowing up any self-esteem that I have right now. Yeah, and he's not busy tormenting, trying to murder his brothers. He's ignoring his crying children. Yeah, he's really upset. So I'm going to try and wrap this up here shortly and see if I can give Liz a hand with something, but I expect she's got it under control. She'll come in and tell me if she needs help with something. What awful thing was I busy describing to you guys? Oh yeah, so Jay would send the kids into the room, as soon as mom left the house. I was way more fun than that. We would find out what the kids will remember, even as they're grown-ups now. We had a good time. When mom left the house, if I was babysitting, if I was in charge of the kids, we would have a lot of fun. We would build forts. We would play games. We would put on, if there was anything on TV that was we had to do this a few times. Sometimes you get a National Geographic documentary on elephants or whatever. So we would turn that on and turn the sound all the way down. And then I would do voices for the elephants, some elephant will be rubbing itself up against a tree, and I would, in my elephant voice, I can't get around this tree. Help me. Help me get around this tree. It's in the way. I won't go over. The elephant did not think to take 2 steps to the left so he could walk around the tree. No. He had to keep his path and keep going straight. Yeah. I had fun with kids with that. I'm feeling so guilty right now. I think I need to send some apologies. So I'll be making some phone calls or something along those lines soon enough. Daniel, I still think of Daniel as being a small child. I moved out of my mother's house when I was 15. But Daniel was about 6. And I didn't see too much of him. He was a cute kid. And I think he's probably the best adjusted out of all of us world boys. Jay and Peter have grown up to save the world. Both of them are running large scale food pantry operations to help feed families in need, homeless. Anyone who needs help. Jay ran Habitat for Humanity for a large portion of Pennsylvania. These guys are heroes to the community, and they deserve all of the applause. Michael deserves a lot of applause as well. He's a stay-home father, which it takes some courage to do. There are still plenty of people in this world who will look down upon stay-at-home dads as being lazy or unwilling to work or inferior in some way. And Michael's everything but that. He's he is a very hardworking person. He's extremely smart. It's got to be hard, I imagine, for him watching. He's got his two brothers who are relatively close by, who get newspaper articles written up on how great they are. That's hard to compete with, and people don't write newspaper articles about how great you are as a stay-at-home dad. But I'll tell you what, his oldest daughter, Carolyn, is like the smartest kid in the world. She's going to Vassar. I believe she was valedictorian of her class. His other children are, all of them early readers, very bright, well-mannered, funny. Michael himself, very funny. But Michael and Clara, his wife, they've done an amazing job, I think, with these kids. It's unfortunate that nobody's going to be putting them on the news for what a great job they've done. But it would be well deserved, in my opinion. Daniel was again was very cute, smart kid. He had he's got his head screwed on straight. Um, uh, I think I had a fair amount of influence over. He's a fan of Led Zeppelin. He likes role playing games and reads fantasy novels and so forth. Jay and I were both into that. Uh, I think I was into it a little bit more than Jay was. He owned a lot of books. I read all his books, Dad's books, Mom's books. I never collected books. Everybody in my family. I think I don't know what Dan and Paige do. From what I can tell, everybody's got these big libraries full of books. Might just be my imagination. Well, hey, there's Liz. Hello, Lizzie.
Are you live?
I am no.
What's this live?
Well, I'm not dead. Yes. Is Jimmy okay?
Yes, he was being put in timeout because he was throwing stuff at Liam.
Nice. Did he hit him?
Did James hit him?
Yeah, with the stuff that he threw.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, he did.
He's got good aim. All right. Skill development. I swear I'm not a terrible person. I swear I'm not a terrible person. Sure feel like one looking back on how I've treated my siblings over the years. Was roommates with Peter for a while. I was a terrible roommate. I was roommates with Jay for a while. I was a terrible roommate. I didn't save my money well. I drank it. I was chasing relationships. I wasn't being the kind of person that you would want to befriend or have as a sibling. Yeah, I'm sorry it's turned out to be way harder question I thought it would be. But yeah, I think that's probably pretty good. Daniel was also athletic. He used to. I remember if you threw a football to Daniel, it didn't matter how close or far away it was to him. He would hurl himself to the ground, make amazing catches. They always looked spectacular, successful or not. There's a little boy. Yes, Jimmy.
You're going to stay here. I'm going to run to the store real quick.
Oh,
I was
yeah?
going to watch the kids. I just need to get milk.
Okay.
Do you want anything?
Grilled cheese. Oh, thanks. Do I want anything? No, I think I'm all right.
More Gatorade?
Yeah, maybe some bagels.
What color gator did you want?
This was fine. Either yellow or red.
Or
Uh,
what do you see yourself over there?
say hi, Jimmy.
You say hi.
Say hi. Yeah, boy.
Bye.
You get 5? I love you.
All right, Gatorade or bagels?
Bye.
Gatorade and bagels.
Plain bagels?
Bye.
Yeah, and pastrami.
And pastrami. Plain bagels, pastrami, Gatorade.
Yeah,
All right, love you.
love you. Bye. I haven't had pastrami in a hot minute. But I used to work at Bodo's. Bye. I used to work at Bodo's Bagels down in Charlottesville. I used to make myself a hot pastrami bagel sandwich. I probably wasn't being a jerk to anybody at the time when I did that. Yeah. So yeah, I guess a lot came out there, more than I expected, and I'm sorry I dragged it on for so long. It's been an hour and a quarter. I love my brothers very, very much. Uh, I'm going to go rescue James now from feeling abandoned by Lizzie going to the store. So, listen, love you very much. Thank you for going through that with me. I'm going to send some apologies out to my brothers for being such a jerk. And we'll do some more cards next time and find out about what an awful person I am. Then. Bye.